Hello, everybody. Welcome to Abnormal Investigations. I've got a cold tonight, if you can't tell by my voice, but we're going to go ahead and continue. I've done a lot of research, kind of went back to my old roots at what I used to do, and I took on a case that should be very familiar to a lot of people, not just in Oklahoma, but outside of Oklahoma. This case is an unsolved mystery. Has probably three components to it. We're going to explore three components, possibly more. It depends on what Snow Angel Jesse can come up with as we dig through the material. I will go ahead and tell you that this is it's a sad case. It's definitely not going to be for children. If you have children in the room or watching this, you're not going to want them in the room to hear the content of this case. It is a sad case. It's a hard one to look into because anything that deals with a child is never easy. But I hope that we can at least give the family at least some theories that they may not have looked at maybe by doing this. And hopefully they will come to a conclusion in this case eventually as to what happened. I'm going to go ahead and throw Jessie in here. She never answered me if she wanted to be in the beginning or not. So guess what?
Hello. I did answer you. I answered you like 3 times. But again, you never pay any attention. So.
Well, I didn't get it. It's blank.
I
think you're having a lot of internet problems today.
I am having internet problems today.
You're going to have to get that straightened out.
Yeah.
It's really not going to be much. I'm not going to spend a lot of time. Just got a few things I want to say. The difference between my show and other shows is I'm not going to bash without proof or anything that I can't back up. Does that make me a truther?
Yeah.
Would you, Scott, do you want to come on now or do you want to wait? He wants on.
Oh, I'm sure you give him the option. I see where I rate.
Well, you said you weren't coming on until after he talked. So
I
I was
did
gonna,
see it.
I was going to sit out with you, but I saw you on there, so I said, "Well, I'll get in there with them."
Oh, well, I appreciate it.
Three
Uh,
musketeers.
Randy will be joining us tonight. So y'all's going to get to see my AI creation tonight. So since everybody knows that he's actually one of my fake accounts, uh, ridiculousness. There is something, guys, that I want to say tonight before we start any of this, and I believe it's going to be one of the most important topics of tonight. Probably is the most important topic of tonight because it's something we can actually change that's happening right now. I would like to ask for prayers for Justin Decker. I would like everybody to pray for him and his family. He is in the hospital. Um, his I don't know if it's his wife or his girlfriend is unable to make it to him tonight. He is having some heart difficulties, and they're asking for prayers that he will get accepted into a UK program where he can get a heart transplant. I don't know the details, so I'm not going to say anymore, but I am going to ask for prayers for him and his family, guys.
Yeah, definitely.
Um,
Amen.
another thing I'd like to just address quickly is uh, Wendy Guizdala. I believe that's how she pronounces her name. Maybe last name Villarella, or I'm not sure if it's how she pronounces it. She's been running her mouth across the social media, spreading and what it is, it's misinformation. And anybody that knows how to read a court docket would know that it's misinformation. Uh, for months now, PRT, Josh Turner, and his crew have made the allegations and accusations that I've been ordered to take a psychosexual evaluation. Completely false. That has never been ordered. It was a recommendation, but the judge never ordered it. So that's another falsehood that has been spread around. Everybody saying that that's what I've been ordered to do. Everybody knows anything that has a little bit of common sense, a little bit of an IQ knows that if you go in and you read court dockets and there's an order, you will always find an order in the PDF because an order requires it to be an order. So there is no order for that. If you want to go check, what I'm probably going to start doing is I'm going to have Jesse, if she will, we're just going to start posting the court links on my page. That way you all can follow for yourself, see the truth and not what's twisted. Um,
I can do
I'll say
that.
that part. I'll say the next part in just a second because it falls into what I'm getting ready to say. I have no idea what Wendy's fixation is on this case. It doesn't have anything to do with her. It's about my immediate family and others, but nothing that would have any effect on her. Now, I don't want to attack her. I don't want to fight her as an enemy. I don't want to fight anybody as an enemy. But what I am going to tell her is my family's been under attack for over a year, called things that I wouldn't even call a dog. And this is your chance, Wendy. I'm going to try to be respectful to you right now. I'm going to try to be nice. I have recordings to where you've said a lot of things about your family, personal, that I'm sure you don't want out there. A lot of things about your life that you don't want out there. But see, I never done that to you, not even when you attacked me in other videos that you done. I never once brought any of your family stuff out. Not one time. I'm to the point right now to where if you don't stop, I'm just going to take it all and I'm just going to put it out there for everybody. All I'm asking you is to just stop, mind your business, and go enjoy whatever creator you like. Just leave my name out of your mouth, my family's name out of your mouth, and just go enjoy your life. It's pretty simple. That's all I'm asking, and that's all the time I'm going to give you on that. The next thing I was going to bring up is, of course, Abe is attacking me nightly. I've been told I don't go over and watch that shit show. That's just to me just a couple of perverts that's got nothing better to do at night than sit there and flirt with each other. whenever you don't have anything better to do than try to convince everybody that your wife doesn't have a male organ, that's not shows I'm really particularly excited to be involved in. So, not my genre. Moving on to the next thing. Josh Turner has been making accusations about me being incestuous with my mom. Well, again, I tried to leave this alone, and I think this is going to interest a lot of people. Mr. Turner, if you will remember, we had a conversation on the phone, me, you, and Nellie, and others. That conversation was recorded, and you told me the 3 people that told you about that rumor and knew that it was a lie and wanted you to spread it to hurt me. I have that conversation recorded, and I can play that conversation if you would like me to. It's another lie and another deception that you've spread. And I will put that out there. I have the conversation. I'm not bluffing. And I can play it and show you a liar and a liar over and over and over again. Stop coming at my mom, or I'm going to put a lot of stuff out there that I can prove. Not just fake allegations and conspiracy theorists that you all are that tried to do what you did to me. I have the proof. I will play it and I will release it. Y'all have anything you want to say? That's all I'm going to spend on it.
Nope.
Nope. You said it all.
Mm-hmm.
Randy's going to join us tonight. I've been excited to see Randy.
Hey, Randy.
Hello, Randy.
Hello, Abnormal Investigations and Abnormal Family. How is everybody doing tonight?
Good.
Doing good.
How are you, Randy?
Randy has his gear. Where's my gear? I'm still waiting for mine in the mail.
Well, that's above my pay raise. I can't talk about that.
Randy is very professional at what he does.
Yes. Randy's computer could probably do more than I could ever learn to do.
It's just a tool.
It's a tool that I'm not familiar with. Is there anything you want to say tonight, Randy, before we get started on the topic?
I really don't know anything about the topic, so this is like new to me. So it's going to be a learning experience.
Oh, that's cool. You'll be able to give a outside opinion and outside view on it. That'll be even better.
Bless bullets to kill demons. Hey, I wonder if that'll work on werewolves.
It makes me wonder if I wasn't part of maybe what was going on. Maybe it was some cryptids at this place. And again, guys, I would like to let everybody know what we're going to talk about tonight is not going to be material. I mean, none of our materials for children, but tonight especially would not be something you're going to want your child to hear. Or we do have some photographs. None of the photographs or pictures we're going to show are bad. It's just the idea and knowing that these people are now deceased and one been a child. It is never easy to look at. So just a warning to everybody. This case has 3 different that I can find, and I tried to look at it. I mean, it's been a long time since I worked, but as I would as when I worked and investigated an actual case, and I came to three things. Of course, one they would never let me use, but whenever you look at this, there's a lot of possibilities, theories. I also seen in a few places in here to where I can tell that there is a cover up. In my opinion, again, this is entertainment purposes only tonight, but in my opinion, there is some cover ups, and we'll go over that, the wording of the story, and some things that was entered into the story, how it was entered, and when it was entered. Tells me pretty strongly that there's something that they probably do not want to get out. I'm just going to start with the beginning, I guess, the beginning paragraph. Jesse and Scott must be having a conversation behind our back.
What'd you do now, Mike?
I know. What did I do?
Mike's in trouble now.
I'm in trouble. And
Good to see
I'll try to throw everybody up on the chat too as I see you. Also, I can see chat tonight. I'm trying to use an iPad and a computer, so I'm multitasking. So we'll see how that goes. Oh, there she is.
Sorry, I had to go get my notes.
Oh, all
I
right.
wasn't ready for class yet.
So the on the first part of this, from what I could tell from researching this case, the Jamison family were not ones to shy away from unconventionality. Okay, so they were a very private family, and with that being said, there was now. I think law enforcement took this as more of a as is instead of speculation because nobody really knew. But they're saying that this family was having marital issues and, their marriage was a little rocky and they were looking to possibly buy some land out in the country to start over. And part of what they were wanting to do is move out on a 40-acre plot they had found in, I believe you pronounce it Panola Mountains in Oklahoma. Um, it's down Eufaula, Oklahoma area. So what they were looking at trying to do allegedly was pretty much a new beginning, a new start. They were looking for, I guess, thinking that if they were to move away and build a new home and everything, that got a new start, that everything would turn around for them and their family. Which I think a lot of people do that. I think a lot of people. Jesse, quit being so tense. I think a lot of people try to do start over.
She wants to look professional.
Did you see it in the chat? I seen it in the chat. That's why I was giving her hell about it. Somebody said, Jesse, quit being so tense.
I got some earmuffs. I'll try that.
Yeah, put them in and I'll play a sound for you real quick.
No, they're earmuffs. They don't have speakers. I'm talking about for outside.
Oh. Are they Mickey Mouse?
No, they're my exes. It'd be like feminine looking, probably pink.
Oh. The Jamison's home life, they're trying to, and this is my opinion, again, entertainment purposes only. This is me breaking down a case in my own opinion, and of course we'll get your all's opinions on this too. The Jamisons' home life was in turmoil, allegedly, leading up to their disappearance. Now, what they're trying to say is Bobby was involved in a car wreck in 2003, which caused him severe back injuries, which left him having to use pain medications, which they said altered his mood, causing him to have pretty much bad mood swings.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was just natural in a marriage.
Stop.
And then you go down and you look at it, and it says Sherilyn, his wife Sherilyn, she had and was diagnosed with a bipolar disorder. She was prescribed medication, but she didn't take it regularly. Allegedly, this resulted in her lashing out at those around her and caused bouts of severe depression. For these reasons, Bobby and Sherilyn's marriage was strained. It was believed that this was one of the main reasons for their plans to move away, to have a fresh start and hopefully another chance at happiness. Okay, so my opinion is they're already trying to paint a picture. There's a lot of speculation being used as tangible evidence, and I don't believe, because to me they contradict themselves immediately whenever they say that they were, hey, psychic interconnections, it's good to see you tonight.
Psychic.
They may I don't know. I think that there's something more to that. What do you think, Jesse, before I start getting into my...
Well, I think that's the basis of it. For the most part, it's pretty much, I think that's like a standard. Yeah. I know there's more to it, but I think that's the gist of it that most people gather from the basis of the whole case study situation.
Because I mean, does it kind of feel to you guys like they're already trying to blame problems on them? That it's their problem? That's the way I'm seeing it. Is they're trying to say that they had these issues in their family that they believe is going to result.
Well, but none of those issues are anything out of the everyday norm that most families are going through anyways nowadays. I mean, car
Exactly.
accidents, back pain, medical, mental issues, small child. I mean, yeah, that's
And that's not counting the doctor bills and the stress of paying them. And I believe he was unemployed and they were drawing government assistance, so they were barely scraping by.
yep. Because I don't think she was employed either. Correct?
Yeah, I don't think so. I think that
Yeah.
I believe she got government assistance. She had the mental disability.
Right.
Uh, and this is where I think it starts again. They say that both Bobby and Cheryl Lynn were very religious. And this is the part that kind of really gets kind of weird to me, is because they say that they were very religious and they were heavily involved in spirituality and church. Now, however, that's where you have to throw in the however. However, the two were paranoid that their home was being invaded by spirits. So now you're starting to see kind of a twist. You're starting to see, like, are they trying to say that they're having hallucinations due to their medication and the injuries and their mental illnesses? Because a lot of times they will try to use that against you to try to say that they have mental issues, they were diagnosed by the government, they're drawing checks by the government, therefore they have to be mental because they are they're disabled. I disagree with that. I disagree with that 100%. I do not believe because somebody is disabled because of a mental condition that's going to cause them to hallucinate, or if they're under doctor's care and the doctor says that you're well enough to be at home. I don't and there's other things that's going to Christian psychic interconnections. That was the only thing I could find was just Christian. I couldn't find any denomination. And if y'all want to jump in at any time or have anything you want to add to it, let me know, because
Would you
I spent.
What did I?
I thought I heard somebody.
I thought somebody was talking too. You guys
It
watch
might be,
TV.
it might be my pad.
Oh.
I turned the volume down.
Are you double juicing tonight, Scott?
I'm trying to, but I still can't see the damn pad. It's too small.
We're gonna have to send Scott a computer, guys. We're gonna do a GoFundMe for Scott.
I'm gonna get a 75-inch monitor.
Wow.
That'd be nice.
So I can see the fine print with my glasses on. Now, if I take them off, I can see the small print fine, but I can't with the glasses on.
That's what I have to do. I have to wear my glasses up close, and then far away I can see. So it's kind of
Well, I'm opposite of you. I can't see far away, but I can see close up.
And sometimes I remind myself of the librarian, because if I don't watch myself, I'll leave my glasses down low. And
I think it's called farsighted and nearsighted. You're nearsighted. You're farsighted.
Something like that.
Okay.
I'm something. Okay. Now you start thinking about. They have mental conditions. That they're medicated for it. So what are the police going to say? What are the doctors going to say? They're probably going to say that they're having hallucinations. They're schizophrenic. They're going to start throwing in a whole lot of different medical terms to try to find excuses for their behavior and what they're seeing. And
well, but the thing is that to turn around and say that they could possibly be schizophrenic, I mean, that's a whole nother medical diagnosis that if she's already been diagnosed as bipolar and he's just under pain and on pain medication, it's a far jump to all of a sudden turn around and say that they're schizophrenic or they have other mental issues on top of that. So
Right.
that's speculation.
The sad thing is, though, I have seen so many doctors, whenever stuff like that happens, not even send a patient to a counselor and just automatically diagnose them in their office as having something. And I better be careful how I word this, or we'll get our channel in trouble. Doctors and, how do we say, people who sell pills make money to prescribe them.
It's true.
So there's a kickback.
But neither of them were diagnosed as that.
Right. And then there's another factor that I think throws out the idea of them being schizophrenic or anything. And that is two reasons. And I found these when I was digging through all the police reports and everything. Okay. Cheryl Lynn had made a police report and made a statement, said that one of the reasons that she was being upset was because not only was she hearing voices in the house, but her daughter Madison was talking regularly to something called Emily, who was not there. Okay. The police and them ended up saying that the daughter was only doing this as a coping mechanism that children do when they're in high stress situations. Again, I think they're trying to cover it. But then there's another thing that pops up that kind of makes that not relevant, because Cheryl Lynn's mother also hears voices in her daughter's home that does not even live in that home. As a visitor to the home, she's hearing the same disembodied voices that the child and the mother are hearing, and then later on, the father is also going to end up hearing these things. So I don't think they're hallucinating.
Mm-hmm. It's definitely demonic.
There's too many people hearing it and seeing it.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then another weird thing, while they was investigating the home, they were all said to have been very religious people, very strong Christians. And while going through the home, they found a copy of the Satanic Bible by Anton LaVey. The Bible was said to belong to Bobby, and Bobby said that he bought it in an attempt to exorcise evil spirits from his home. And then that makes you wonder,
where would he have gotten that idea from? I mean, as a Christian, that's
was he desperate? Maybe
one of the voices told him to go get it. It would help get rid of them.
Right. Yeah. I mean, was something?
I mean, why would you bring a Ouija board in your house to figure out how to get rid of them?
Right.
You know, it don't make sense.
Right.
Right.
But anyway, go ahead.
I want to show you a photograph of their house real quick, so you kind of get an idea where they lived. This is the actual home right here where they lived.
Tri-level.
Mm-hmm. Was that at the time of that they were
Looks
living?
like a fairly large home.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good sized tri-level. Wonder what's behind the house. Is it all woods?
Yeah.
Sarah Lag.
I think there is.
It's actually, I think, kind of like it's in town.
Okay.
Oh, are we still lagging?
It really don't matter anymore. They're coming in towns and cities and.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
I know people.
This is where it gets really strange.
Go ahead, Randy.
I know people who's been
having. Go ahead. We just have a lag, Randy.
With creatures inside of town, inside city limits. People are starting to see more and more things.
Right.
Yeah.
You hear more and more of them getting closer and closer to the cities.
And I actually know personal people who've actually had encounters with creatures that they can't explain. So.
Right.
Maybe one day I can get them on here to tell their story, but we'll see how that goes.
Well, that'd be real good. Okay, so the police at this point are blaming Bobby. They're saying that the Bible was his, right? So he
Right.
must have been the one that brought the demonic book into the home, the Satanic Bible. We all know who Anton LaVey is. If you don't know who he is, Google it. But I'm not going to give him any airtime. He's evil. They had a storage container on their property in Eufaula at that house that I just showed you. They planned on taking that storage container to the 40 acres that they were looking at to buy. The idea was they was going to live in it until they built their actual home on top of that mountain. The storage unit drew the attention of the Jamisons' neighbors in Eufaula due to the graffiti Sherilyn was spray painting all over it. She would do this at night also, mind you, in the middle of the night. Sherilyn believed she was a witch, and she told the neighbors this. She also performed seances with her friend Nikki. I'm not going to use her last name, I have it. Although Nikki admitted that she herself did not really take the seances all that seriously. While Sherilyn, on the other hand, did. On the storage unit, Sherilyn had written strange ramblings about her black cats being poisoned, and that witches don't like their cats to be poisoned. She was convinced that someone from the neighborhood had killed her cats, and she did not hold back from letting people know about it. Unsurprisingly, this made neighbors very uncomfortable, and they did their very best to avoid the family at all costs. And in the end, this worked out well for Sherilyn, as they really just wanted to be left alone. They were a quiet family. That sounds like they were possibly being maybe picked on by the neighbors, ridiculed because of how they were, maybe. But here's the container.
What was the container for, Mike?
That's where they were going to live
Internet.
Oh.
on the new property. Yeah.
I mean, you can fix them up. I've seen them look like just like a mobile home, but
Yeah, but I think the original plan with this was they were going to just throw some stuff down.
yeah.
You there, Mike?
They were going to actually try to live in that. Can you believe that? Up on the top of a mountain. Uh-oh.
Without fixing it up, fixing it up, it would be hard to live in.
Right. Especially, yeah, on a mountain.
Yeah.
Yeah. And y'all can still hear me, right?
Yeah, I think there's a big lag between you and us.
Yeah, I think there is too. I'm going to blame that on Logan and Kaylee.
Okay. Yeah, tell them to turn their games off.
Yeah.
They did. I don't know why it's lagging. I may have to upgrade to a faster internet. That might be what I have to do.
Hey, Mike, Ellen Smith has a good question for you.
Okay. I can't see it, so you'll have to, if you want to read it.
Bodies found on the property, or on that property. Were there bodies found on the property?
No.
Okay.
No. But we'll get to that though. We'll get to the coroner report and where they found the bodies.
Okay.
October 16th of 2009, according to the family and friends of the Jamisons, it was not uncommon for them to disappear for several days without really notifying anybody. The Jamisons enjoyed solitude in nature, often breaking away from reality to seek it out, which was why, whenever they had not been seen or heard from in several days, no one was particularly alarmed. On top of this, the family had informed Madison's school that they would be withdrawing her as they were moving away, hence why the school never asked about her or followed up with her. So it sounds like they had their plans all made out of what they was wanting to do.
Mm-hmm. No, you skipped ahead. Did you hit on the fact of October 8th?
Okay, what I miss?
October 8th, when they actually left the home to go look at the property and went missing?
Okay, yeah. Let's see. 8 days. Anyone seen the last term from the Jamison? The 8th hunters reported. Okay, yeah. That's what we're fixing. We're going to look at the video. Actually,
Okay.
I have the video.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Well, that's no, because I'll go right past it if I don't. Let me make sure I got my glasses. Okay, so there is a video. They had home video cameras at their house. Again, they done some odd things on the video. They were taking boxes in and out of the house, putting them in the truck, taking them out of the truck, but they was the same box. They would stare at the sky. They wouldn't talk to each other, and they acted like they were in like a zombie mode, pretty much. Detectives said that it was very weird behavior, but aside from that, you really don't get anything from the video. I'm going to play the video for you guys. If it's hard for some of you to watch, you may not want to watch because it is one of the last known videos of this family alive. And I know it may not bother a lot of people. I just want to be as cautious as I can and not, cause anybody any trouble because I know this can be hard for some people. And here's the video right here. This is the last one. Well, I'm not going to say last, but I'm going to say one of the last known videos of them.
And that was all in sequence. That wasn't like replaying over and over, correct?
Right. Yeah, that was
So
that's what was released.
okay. So that right there shows that it was kind of odd already because they were going back and forth doing the exact same thing, taking the same boxes back in, bringing the boxes back out.
It wasn't loot.
And you notice they didn't. No.
Okay.
No. And you also notice that they don't even really pay attention to their daughter.
Mm-hmm.
She's at that one part. She's just kind of wandering around.
Yeah.
Let's see. They left October 16th, according to the family and friends, and 8 days after anyone had last seen or heard from them, the Jamisons on the 8th, hunters
Nope. You have that
reported.
backwards.
Huh?
You have that backwards. They left on the 8th. And hunters on the 16th.
Yes. Yeah, on the 8th is when they left, and they were gone. And then the family and the friends didn't ask anything about them. And then on October 16th, 2009, the family and friends said that they had not, they were not worried about them being gone because it wasn't something they wouldn't do. They wouldn't just disappear. But 8 days after anyone had last seen or heard from the Jamisons on the 8th, hunters reported an abandoned truck on top of the Panola Mountain and reported it to police, who determined it belonged to the Jamisons. The truck was locked, and it appeared that all the family possessions, including their dog Maisie, were inside. Maisie, miraculously, she did survive, but extremely malnourished, she hadn't eaten for a number of days, only her own fecal matter to stay alive.
Wow.
Authorities freed Maisie from the truck, bringing her to live with Bobby's mother.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't dig deeper into that case, they would be fine with leaving it at that as far as what was in the vehicle. But I wanted to know what was in the vehicle, what was in the inventory report, because a lot of times you'll learn things from that. And in the inventory report, they found personal items, including their cell phones, Sherilyn's purse, Bobby's wallet from the truck. Those things are going to be important here in just a little bit. The police figured that the family must have got lost somewhere in the woods, as the trees atop the Panola Mountains are incredibly dense. The terrain was uneven and difficult to navigate. The GPS led them up a hill where they discovered small footprints that clearly belonged to Madison. They say they believe once they arrived at the top of the hill, they discovered a picture on the cell phones that had been taken of Madison. Okay. Remember, they found the cell phone inside of the truck. Okay, the cell phone that was found inside of the truck had a picture of Madison where they had been up on the hill. Whenever the vehicle was found, all the doors were locked, the windows were up, and the keys were in the ignition. I think that's a very important part.
They also found a GPS in the truck, didn't they?
Yes, that's how they found where they had been. Yeah, because the GPS was actually on their body whenever they got out of the truck and went to the top of the hill. Where they said, they spent around 15 minutes on top of the hill before returning back to the vehicle.
Okay. That's what I was wondering, because when they inventoried the vehicle, the GPS was still in the vehicle and not with them anymore, right?
Right. Okay. And the cell phone that had a photograph of Madison from up on the hill.
Right.
So all this had to be.
Do you have that photograph too? Okay.
Yeah. It's a sad photo because the police. It's difficult to read her expression in the picture. Opinions are somewhat divided regarding her emotions when the picture was taken. While some say that she looks like she's been laughing or she is laughing, other people said she looks like she is about to cry or she is very scared.
Hello, Blake. Good to see you.
So I'm going to show it to you guys, and then I will give you my opinion after your opinion. Again, warning to anybody watching this, we are going to show a picture of a child that may upset some people. So give everybody a second to be able to. And here's the photograph.
Yeah, my opinion of that photograph is that does not look like a happy little 6-year-old.
What do you think, Scott? Does she look happy to you, or?
I don't know. It looks like the weird thing is the way she's got her arms folded, like she's gonna do. I don't know. I don't understand why her arms are folded the way they are.
Right.
They just look weird the way she's got them folded. Like, I don't know, like she's gonna. I dream a genie twitch her head and make something appear. I don't know.
Well,
right.
I'll say,
she got that.
Just from my experience, when I'm trying to take pictures of my nieces and stuff, even when we're trying to get them to smile for our happy little family photographs, you always get the arms crossed and the scrunched up face when they just don't want to have anything to do with it.
Right.
And that's exactly what that reminds me of. It's just leave me alone. I don't want to do this. I'm not comfortable. That's exactly what that reminds me of.
Yeah, that's a good description of it. Like, I'm not picture taking.
Right. Right.
Yeah, you got it.
I think my opinion on her. Well, Randy, what's your opinion? I'll get yours.
I really don't have enough information about the case. I'm just now hearing this information for the first time, so it's like I'm just taking it in. I need data.
Does she look afraid to you, or does she look unhappy?
Well, if you study when somebody crosses their arms on body language, what does that mean? That doesn't mean that they're open. Usually it's a sign that they're closed. They're not open to whoever or whatever's taking the picture. But again, this is speculation, being the first time seeing this information.
Me too,
I think
Randy.
that.
Same
Yeah,
on
I think Randy's right on. I'm going to get faster internet, I promise. I think Randy's right on with that. That she does have her arms closed. She's not happy. She's pulling into herself. I also feel like that that is a forced photograph. She was forced to pose in that photograph. I I don't think that was a photograph that we made it to the top of the mountain and everybody was happy. Let's take a picture of our daughter. That
Right.
to me looks like she was forced to do that pose. She was upset. She didn't want to. And part of the reason she may have been upset also was because the little dog, Maisie, that was left in the pickup truck, they said she never went anywhere without that dog.
Mm.
So that tells me, since the dog isn't with her, things are not normal. Something's going on that's out of the norm while they're on top of this hill. So something isn't right. Uh, it gets even weirder, though, because uh, I don't want to ruin the. Let's see. The police said the family spent around 15 minutes at the top of the mountain before making their way back down to the truck. The police conducted a massive search the next day. A massive search. It was the 17th is when they done it, involving search dogs, over 100 law enforcement and members of the public on the ground and in helicopters, ATVs, etc. However, they failed to locate the family. Now we're starting to get into 411. We're starting to kind of pull away from the human aspect to the possible, we'll say the other side right now. Police continued to search the truck for more clues as to what may have happened. They did, in fact, discover a number of promising leads. Under the front seat of the truck was a bag containing $32,000 in cash.
Wow.
They also discovered an extremely hostile and hateful 11-page long letter written by Sherilyn to Bobby. The letter expressed that Sherilyn felt that Bobby did not care for his family and did not need them, criticizing Bobby for being a hermit.
I got a question.
Okay.
If you got how much, 36,000?
32.
32,000. You got enough money to buy a camper and not even spend. You can buy a nice little camper used for a big one for like 10,000. But why would they waste money on a container?
Well, I think what they were actually doing originally when they went out there was to actually go look at property to purchase. I don't think they actually had purchased anything yet. Is that correct, Mike?
No, yeah, they had not purchased it yet.
Yeah.
The $32,000 emptied their bank account completely.
Yeah.
That was everything that they had. It also, again, as you go further in, they say the bodies were located approximately 3 miles away from the spot the truck was discovered. The bodies of Bobby, Sherilyn, and Madison were discovered by some hunters. They were, of course, skeletons, and although people suspected right away that the bodies belonged to the family, this had to be confirmed by the Oklahoma Medical Examiner. July 2014, the bodies were confirmed as being the Jamisons. They were so decomposed through that the medical examiner was unable to confirm the causes of death. Bobby, however, was discovered with a small hole in the back of his skull. This is the part you got to watch. This is what I got to watch how I word this.
Unalived.
That, and this is also how they will switch the narrative on you to make you look different way. Because what they're going to say right here at the discovery of the bodies in the report is there was a small hole in the back of the skull they believe could have been from a bullet. Okay. That's speculation at best. These bodies have been out there all this time. Stuff's chewed on them. They've been scattered. Not all the body pieces were found, of course. There's no telling, what had chewed on them, what had ate on them. So you get to the autopsy report where a medical examiner can look at a body, a skeleton, a skull, or anything, fractures, whatever. They can most of the time tell you when they look at something if it was a bullet.
Mm-hmm.
There is certain things that they look for. Size, the size of the hole, fractures, things of that nature from the bullets hitting what they do. But the autopsy ended up being inconclusive. There was no cause of death.
Wow.
Now they say the best theory to start this was probably what everybody wanted to say was this was a murder-suicide. Authorities began spreading that rumor. Consider this seriously when they discover Cheryl Lynn's long hate-filled letter to Bobby and her volatile episodes that occurred due to her bipolar disorder, and she had a pistol inside of the truck. However, the pistol was never found. Okay, to me, it starts bothering me right there because there's a whole lot of speculation right there. You're going to go in and say that it was a murder-suicide. There was a .22 pistol that was in the truck because she always kept it there. You don't know it was there that day.
Right.
I mean, no, there's nothing saying it was there. They're saying that the hate-filled letter they found. How do they know when she wrote that letter? How do they know that it wasn't a fight they had 10 years ago? If they were moving and they were moving boxes and stuff, maybe that was something that was in their moving material that ended up in the truck because they were planning on moving. You see them moving boxes to and from in the video. So
Right.
they were on moving. So, they was boxing stuff, moving stuff. They were. So, I mean, I don't think that you can really look off of that and really say that. Blink, blink. Nothing.
Hmm?
I was waiting on you.
No, I was just confused as to how they would say that, yeah, there was a pistol in the truck, but yet it was missing. So that, yeah, I agree. Speculation. I was wondering why the reports stated that there was a missing .22 and then said that there was a missing briefcase as well.
Well, because somebody had told them that she always kept it in there. But again,
Okay.
they're going on an awful lot of speculation here.
Right.
Right.
And another thing that they said, and I thought was weird, is they said, well, Cheryl Lynn was always known to carry a .22 pistol with her. However, there was no sign of the pistol in the truck when the police searched it, nor was it anywhere to be found in the house. But if it was a murder-suicide, what happened to the gun? Animals aren't going to grab a gun laying out in the woods and chew on it and run off with it. They're going to eat the
Somebody
meat.
tied a balloon to it and it floated up in the air.
There you go.
I saw that.
Yeah.
CIS, I think, was that where the guy killed himself and had the gun tied to a hot air balloon or something,
Yeah.
and it lifted. That was a really good episode. I like that.
It goes on again to say that, and they keep saying this over and over and over. Cheryl Lynn and Bobby's marriage was strained, and they fought a lot, and blah blah blah. But then they took witness statements from neighbors and friends, and this is what the neighbors and friends say. They may have had their differences like any other family, but they were religious. They believed in God. They loved their daughter and would have never hurt their daughter. And that was from multiple witness statements. People saying, no, they wouldn't have done that. Friends and family, particularly Sherilyn's friend Nikki, supports the idea that the Jamisons were possibly kidnapped. As there was no sign of struggle of any kind around the truck, this may suggest the Jamisons were led away from the truck at gunpoint. This theory is backed up by the fact that the Jamisons left their possessions in the car. Even Maisie the dog, whom the Madisons brought everywhere with her. The fact that Jamisons left their phones and wallets in the truck suggests they may have been forced to leave the truck in a hurry, not having time to gather their belongings. Again, I disagree.
Okay. Luana has a question. She wants to know if there were any casings found or drag marks on the ground.
No. No, there was no forensic evidence was found at the scene other than the bodies.
Was it a 22 revolver or a semi-automatic? Do you know?
It was a pistol.
Okay, so there wouldn't be any casings.
I have a question. Right?
Uh-huh.
Pertaining to the hole in the head, and the ballistics said that it was inconclusive, so they couldn't tell what made the hole, whether it was a bullet passed through it or whatever. I'm kind of hung up on that. How can somebody die and there's a hole and they can't tell what it was that done it? I mean, to me, that doesn't.
I think what the coroner probably done, and again, I just have to theorize, just based on what I've seen and what I know. Probably what the coroner would have done is, whenever they collected the body parts, the bones, and you would have found Bobby's skull having the hole in it, and then you find, the deceased child, the deceased mother, you're probably, to make sure I say this, probably what you're going to do is what I would do. You're going to look for similar holes in the other skulls, possibly execution style. Whenever you don't find other holes that are similar, and then the mortician, your investigator at the morgue, determine that there's no, because that they can tell you PSI, stress fractures, and everything on a hole based on the injury. I'm guessing at what they looked at was probably either it happened from natural environment causes, or it's possible that whenever she fell, she could have struck her head on a rock, or
Yeah.
Was it? Do they know for sure if it was him or her?
It was him.
It was him. Okay.
How long were they out there before they were discovered from the time they died?
They were found in 2014.
No, they were
wasn't it?
No. No, they were found November 16th, 2013. They were found 2.7 miles as the crow flies from the vehicle.
They were missing October 16th, 2009.
How did they get 3 miles from the vehicle? Did they walk, or did somebody else move them? Where were they unalived at? Do we know?
No, they wouldn't have any way of knowing, because there was, and then you go back to the 411 case. There was rain that day, which is hell on DNA and evidence. Mm-hmm. Another thing is, and this is a weird part, they're talking 3 miles, and you got to remember harsh terrain, rain, it's a miserable day, and you have a child with you. You're not going to go 3 miles with a child on harsh terrain, weather.
There's no reason. Right. No reason for them to go that far away from the truck, period.
Well, and how far were they originally, according to the GPS? How far did they actually travel?
It never gave a distance. It just said on top of the hill.
Because the GPS wasn't with them when they left that area, right? It was still.
When they disappeared, it wasn't with them. It was
right, so they wouldn't be able to track from there to.
Right.
But I just find that interesting, based on the weather, that they were up on top of this hill and took a picture, and how far they traveled then, or the distance of where they actually found their bodies.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really weird.
I have a question.
It was pretty wild because the police make it sound like in the report that the top of the hill wasn't that far. It said that they had tracked a small distance to the top of the hill, but their bodies were found 3 miles from the vehicle. So just in the wording, that tells me that their bodies were found quite a ways away from where they had been on GPS. That's
Right.
again
Right.
speculation with what they released to us.
And between that and where they found him, she could have lost her gun anywhere in between that area while walking.
Okay,
If she had it on her.
Right, and that's what I started thinking.
Yeah.
What would take them up there 3 miles away from their vehicle in bad weather, up on the side of a mountain? That makes no sense to me.
Right.
I mean, why would you take your family out during bad weather to take pictures during a storm or whatever? I don't think that's normal, is it?
No.
Well, and then the concept of, so they took the walk, took the pictures, came back to the vehicle and left the GPS in the vehicle and then walked back out again.
Yeah.
It makes no sense.
No.
Yeah. Something's definitely off on that.
Something smells fishy to me.
Yeah. Yeah, there wouldn't be no I wouldn't take my young daughter out there and raining muddy hills and trying to, something had to make them leave that area, my opinion. Right. Something chased them away from their vehicle.
Right. And Lawana, there was no signs of struggle or blood or anything inside of the vehicle that made them think that they were injured inside of the vehicle. You got to remember, the dog is also left in the vehicle too. You got to remember, for some reason, they didn't take the dog. And then a lot of people would speculate and say, well, it was raining outside. They didn't want the dog to get muddy and then have to put it in the truck and it jump everywhere too. I mean, I've done that before.
Well, dogs can be runners too. Some people, like, you get a dog, it just takes off and runs and you'll never see it again. Unless it was on a leash, they probably just left it in there because it would probably take off if they let it out.
Well,
right.
But that also leads to the fact that they found their jackets in the vehicle too, and the photo of Madison, she was just wearing a little t-shirt.
Yeah, so she was.
If it was rainy and I mean, of course, that could be another reason why she looked so upset in the photo. But
yeah.
But again, what parent is going to? Okay, maybe I personally wouldn't necessarily throw on a jacket if it was drizzling, but I would definitely be putting something on my kid. And based on the neighbors' accounts of how much they were protected of her, that doesn't add up.
Right.
Michelle McGuire said somebody forced them, is her opinion.
I would have thought that at first, Michelle also, except for I'm going to disagree 100%. And this is just going to be
100%.
100%.
And this is your opinion, right?
This will be my opinion based on the rest of the evidence that y'all haven't got to hear yet.
Right. I want to know the rest of the story.
Yes, let's go.
It gets better.
Well, I want the 100%.
Right. It doesn't get better from the standpoint of what happened, but as an investigator, it gets better as far as the evidence and how things start to correlate.
Is the evidence going to tie in some of this stuff together? Because right now, none of this to me makes any sense. I mean, none of it makes sense with the information that I have as of yet.
I think that by the time we reach the end of this, I think that we're going to have. I think we'll all probably draw our own theories. Again, you have to remember, this is a case that was took on by the FBI. It was took on by the OSBI, local law enforcement, and it is still unsolved. So, and we don't have all the information. There's a lot of redacted information that's not released to us yet that will be held until the case is either closed or it'll remain open.
Can we get the names of the FBI agents that were involved with the case?
Negative.
Oh, man.
They ain't going to give that to me.
I'm looking for, but I can't say that here. I will give you the X-Files. That's all I can give you a hint on.
Well,
Psychic Interconnection says that she doesn't know 100% if it was raining that day that this happened to them. So was it actually that day that it was raining, or was the weather leading or up after it, like during when they went out looking for them?
The police report said that the weather that day was cloudy with light rain and mist.
Okay.
So it might not even been raining at that time.
Right.
The temperature. Do we know the temperatures?
That I do not have.
I would say it'd have to be warm with her in a t-shirt.
True, based on the pictures.
Yeah.
Well,
I
it was
do have-
October 16th in the mountains.
Here's
Or
a photo.
October 8th.
Now, do we know the temperature? Sorry, Jeff.
What was the actual location? I can actually look it up.
Oh, y'all.
Do we know the temperatures that
We're
dropped
just
down
lagging.
to it? Do we know the temperature range when it got down when the rain hit? Do we know how cold it got that night?
Actually, I believe we can actually pull that data. I believe we can.
That's what I was going to look
Was
up.
it because
Jesse's on it.
Okay.
Yeah, I just need to know the actual location. What was the name of the? I don't remember the name of the.
Do Eufaula, Oklahoma?
But that's not. That's the city.
The
they were living in.
location
That's
where
not
they were at.
Right.
The exact location would be Panola, Oklahoma.
hyperthermia from exposure? For whatever reason, they couldn't get back to the. Well, never mind.
Well, that could
I
be
know.
another reason why the little girl had her arms folded, because she was cold.
Right.
That's a good point,
And
Scott.
here's a here is. I actually have a photograph of the truck at the location where it was actually discovered. This is the actual vehicle after it was searched. You got to remember the doors were shut and locked when they found it.
With the keys in it.
Yes.
Could they have accidentally left the keys in the car and not know that they left the keys in the car?
Yeah, that
But-
could be. That's a good point, because if you lock your keys in your car and you can't get
I
to them,
thought about that.
But see, they never made it back to the truck. So, I mean, to me, it sure sounds like somebody planned their deaths because they had everything planned out. I mean, from based on the information I have currently, they left the
I
keys
thought
in the
about that
car.
also, but if you look around,
They walked 3 miles on
Yeah.
top of a mountain and die. I mean, something just doesn't seem, something to me seems fishy. I mean,
right. And if
there's
you're just
plenty of
going
rocks
to,
laying around. They could have knocked the window out.
if you're just going to view the top of the mountain, why would you take that much money with you?
and if somebody killed them, why didn't they take the money?
Right. Exactly.
See,
Yeah.
That's
it was a
that's
criminal-
why I don't.
if it was a criminal, that's what they're after, is the money.
Right. Yeah.
Would they kill them, go through all that trouble to kill them for the money and not take the money unless they got spooked? I mean,
And if I lock my keys in my vehicle, I would bust out a window to get the keys. I mean, I wouldn't sit up there in the mountain and freeze or have to walk 3.5 miles. You just break out the smallest window and get back in your vehicle.
exactly.
That's what I would do too.
Yeah, I think everybody would.
Here's an aerial view of that area too that they were found at.
Psychic interconnections, I don't know why. That doesn't make any sense to me. Sorry, Mike, I wasn't trying to talk over you.
And that's a good clear top of a mountain. It's been cleared off and timbered. Was the container on the mountain? The picture where it was taken, was it up there?
I don't think the container was actually there yet, was it?
Well, they took a picture of it, right?
No,
That
it
was
was
in
still
their yard.
Do what?
Yeah, that was in their yard.
Oh, that was in their yard at their house?
Yes.
Okay. They just had not moved
Uh-huh.
it up there yet, or they're using it to
Right.
store their stuff in.
Well, because again, they hadn't purchased any property yet. They were out there looking to
Okay,
purchase.
I thought they had bought that property.
No, not yet. They were looking.
Okay,
You know,
So they're up there
the
for a place to live. Is what
the
they're doing
police
up on the
department,
mountaintop.
and this is going to make you mad. It made me mad when I read this, and I'm probably going to make somebody mad whenever I give my opinion based on their report. But
Mm.
it's what I used to do. I used to approve reports, so I'm probably going to piss somebody off. But I totally disagree with this report, and I'll tell you why at the end. But
Is
this is
this
what
that 100% thing?
this is the 100%.
Okay, I've been waiting for it.
Okay, so the preacher was interviewed, and the preacher said that whenever he spoke to Bobby, Bobby was adamant about seeing creatures on the roof of his house. He said that they appeared to be demons, and whenever he asked him, "Do you believe they're from another world?" he said, "I don't know. I don't think so. They're solid. They're on my house. They're telling me to leave. I'm going to die. They're going to kill my family if I don't. My daughter has friended one of them. It wants me to leave the daughter. They want my daughter. We got to get out of here. We got to protect my daughter. Can you bless bullets for me to be able to kill these creatures? You know, I need to be able to kill these things, or they're going to kill my family. They're here every night. They're looking in the windows. They're beating on the doors. We got to get out of here." Okay. So the police, and it's not just Bobby, his wife, and the mom all have heard these voices. So the police say what they believed happened was it was a drug deal gone bad. They believe what happened was the reason they acted so weird on the video and like zombies and everything is because they were all high on meth. And they probably went up there to do a drug deal and they were killed. I disagree. Here's my 100%. I disagree 100% with that statement. Everything about it. Number one, if you go up there to do a drug deal, you got $32,000 in cash and somebody kills you, they're going to take the money. Whenever they inventoried the truck, they found controlled substances in the truck that were prescriptions to him and her. Any druggie is going to take those prescriptions. Number three, whenever they looked inside of the truck, they did not take his wallet or anything like that, credit cards or nothing like that. So that tells me that this was not a money transaction. But then if you go on and you look at it also, they said that they were high on meth. Meth is a substance that hypes you up. It does not make you sleepy and tired. They would have been the complete opposite if they were on meth. They would have been hyperactive. They would have had hypertension. They would have been up and moving and jitty and probably up for 2 or 3 days, depending on how much they had ingested or used. So everything that they're trying to sell to me in that report is totally wrong. I think it was a quick way to close the case, or at least, well, it's not closed, it's unsolved, but it was a quick way to give answers to probably a family that didn't have a lot of money, that wasn't well known. They kept to themselves. She was writing crazy stuff out on the container. So it's just say they're crazy using drugs, and we'll leave it at that.
Yeah, that's a little bit hard to believe. How many of the family were up there?
3.
The mom, the dad, and the daughter
Yes.
were the only 3 that were up there.
But there's one weird thing. Whenever they found the bodies, the little girl, where they found her, what was left, they didn't find everything, but where they found her skull and pretty much, there was fresh wild flowers put together and laid on her.
So from the time they died, where they died, till the time they found them was how many years?
3 or 4, almost what 4?
Yeah, so that's very weird that there's flowers on fresh flowers
Yeah. So yeah, 2009
to 13.
to
Now, were
13.
these flowers from the flower shop, or were these flowers picked near that area and laid there? Do we know?
Oh yeah, what kind of
Yes,
flowers were they?
but they were picked from the area. They said that they were
Wow.
wildflowers
Yeah.
from the area.
So the temperature range was actually a high of 70 with a low of 52.
Oh yeah, 70. You can handle that.
Of exposure from what's it called when you get too cold?
Hypothermia.
Hypo- I was thinking if it got too cold, maybe they died of exposure of hypothermia, but in those temperatures, that's not
Right.
No.
Yeah.
kill you.
No.
Under normal circumstances.
Yeah, you would be uncomfortable,
Right.
but you wouldn't.
Right.
And
You're not going to die under normal circumstances in 50-degree weather.
Yeah, and they would have thought of ways to cover them up with whatever they could,
But they
Yeah,
made it.
No, go
They
ahead.
made
We just have a
the
lag.
vehicle on top.
Go ahead, Randy.
But they didn't come down.
No, they actually went 3.5 miles away. Is there any roads close to where they pulled off? Is there
I
a road?
agree with what he said about they were meth heads that actually did that. They would have taken everything that he said that they would have.
In a heartbeat.
The keys being locked. That makes no sense. There's a lot of inconsistencies that to me the data doesn't make sense.
I've got another thing that doesn't make sense because I've dealt with demons in my house here, and when I was younger, they don't get on the roof and ask to come in. They can go right through the wall and be in there. They can come right on in.
But these things took a physical form. I mean, they were so real to him. He was asking a preacher to bless the bullet. This guy is terrified of these things.
Mhm.
These entities were in a physical form, making noise on top of the roof.
Right.
This guy was.
And they were talking.
Yeah.
Now, were they saying one word like "keep girl" or very very small talk? Who knows? Because the dog man usually says one word or 2 words at the most.
Okay, so now I have a question. Did they, by any chance, do any type of chemical mold testing or anything like that in the house? I'm thinking more of a scientific basis because I know that like molds and stuff like that can cause, since the entire family was dealing with this, it could cause issues with them.
Hallucination.
Yes.
Okay,
Whereas
so
the whole family would deal with that.
Right.
Okay, so here's a little bit of the plot twist. So they're living at the house. The dad, Bobby, he's got a bad back. Right, he was in a car accident, so he's hurting all the time, taking pain meds. Sounds like me, and he can't do a lot of lifting or anything like that. So he's had to hire this guy to come and help him to do things around the house. They end up letting this guy move in. And whenever this guy moves in, of course, he's doing the yard work and everything that he can't do. And the funny thing is, this guy that moves in also hears the voices, hears the things on the roof, and he goes down. And from the way the report sounds, he got in Cheryl Lynn's face and told her that he was a white supremacist and he wanted to pretty much unalive her because she was an Indian. She pulls out the 22 pistol she always carries and she fires 2 rounds into the ground, scares him off. He runs off. He goes around telling everybody there is bad juju in that house. There is some bad things going on in that house. Now, Where I find what's weird, and you all tell me what you think, this is where I get a little bit confused. Whenever they do the investigation of the house, they make sure they put that the satanic Bible they found was Bobby's. Okay? But then I was looking and thinking about this. Bobby's the one that went to the preacher. Bobby was the one everybody said was very religious. He was a Christian. But the wife, Cheryl Lynn, was the one doing the seances and writing the witch stuff on the containers. So, do we have a conflict of interest, say, going on in the home? You have a guy that's trying to get rid of this demonic entities, but then you have, say, her that is practicing this black magic stuff, which, she's going to be bringing it in.
Right.
I mean, are they battling each other? Is there a spiritual warfare going on? And Randy's like, "Yeah, I'm ready for this."
Randy?
Yeah.
Well, when you get into stuff like that, they can do some strange things, as Scott found out through the TV.
Oh yeah.
Them taking physical form, yes, they can. They can. I won't say why I know this, but they can. And for now, that's all I'm going to say. I'm going to let you continue. Sorry to interrupt you, Mike. I was just.
That's all right. You're fine. Mom was
this
laughing.
With this being demonic, it's going to be boiling down to your faith and your belief, whether you're saved or not, whether you're covered in the blood of Jesus Christ, on whether how much these things can torture you and destroy you. I know people. I've had close friends that the demonic entities led them to commit suicide.
Mm.
And well, I won't go. I can't go into any more details than that.
Now the reason I was laughing is because whenever you mentioned Scott's TV and Scott went, "Oh yeah," Mom started laughing because Scott was like, "Oh yeah."
Yeah. I know what they can do. I know what they can do and what you can stop them from doing.
Right.
The blood of Jesus Christ, if you truly believe, if you're truly saved and you truly believe, all you got to do is scream out to Jesus when you're in peril. And your angels, your guardian angels assigned to you by our Father, our God, will defend you.
And
no matter what the situation.
That's what I use to get them out of here.
Whether it be animal or whether it be the beast of the earth, as described in Genesis.
And it works.
If you cry out to Jesus when something's about to harm you, I've had creatures, living creatures like large panthers in the Arkansas, up in the mountains, and I've had encounters with large panthers that they just licked me and walked on. They didn't hurt me. So I've had encounters with wild animals that could have taken my life, but because I was protected by God, the creatures did not harm me.
I agree.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, that's my personal experiences with some of these creatures and things that I didn't believe existed. But over the years, I've had encounters with things that I can't explain. And the only reason why I'm still here is because God has protected me. I've had close encounters with creatures, like with werewolves at night, 3 feet from my face. And let me tell you, that'll scare the hell out of you for the first time, because I didn't believe in that stuff. I thought all you people were crazy believing in this stuff, because that's what they teach us. They teach us that in the public school. They teach us that in religion. They teach us that all these monsters, they were wiped out in the flood. They were, but Satan figured out a way to bring them back, in my opinion. And this, I have no idea other than it's demonic, and it's and these people, whatever their fate was, they die. I don't think you're ever going to find the whole truth on I don't think you're going to be able to piece this to track it down to one person if this is actually a true demonic, where these demons were able to take physical form and kill these people. I mean, that's just horrific. I mean, that's horrific, but it's possible based on things that I've witnessed.
Do we know how far from their house to where they were at the mountain, how long that drive was?
I think it was a fairly long drive. I think it was not a short jaunt. It would be I don't know if Jesse can look at real quick. It would be from Eufaula, Oklahoma to Panola, Oklahoma would be the distance.
Okay. I was just wondering if something could have tracked them that far from their house, like Dogman or something.
Well, they can. It doesn't take much for them to follow you anywhere. I don't think they could within a moment.
They can mark you.
Yeah.
Another thing I thought was interesting, and I don't know if y'all had thought it was interesting, was the fact that it had made friends with the little girl.
One of them.
Now, do you know what this it was, per se? Do we have any idea on what this it was?
On what they was?
Correct, the critter, the type of critter that we're dealing with, because
it just spoke about things on top of the house that were not human, but they weren't ghosts either. They were not from like another.
It's about an hour's drive.
Oh, okay. So it wasn't. So they didn't see hair or mention anything about seeing hair hanging off of them or anything like that.
Not. I mean, no, but if it, and then whenever he says they were looking in the windows and then scratching on the doors, that tells me that they at least had fingernails.
Right.
Well, that sounds like a Bigfoot or like a maybe a werewolf taunting them. I mean,
yeah, I would say that's what I'm thinking. It was maybe a pack of dogmen.
I mean, again, this is the first time I'm hearing this information, so if I draw the wrong conclusion, it's just, I'm doing the best I can here.
But if you got a pack of dogmen chasing you, you're not going to try to move out into the mountains where you're not around nobody.
Why would you leave this in your vehicle and seek on an open hill? That makes no sense. That's not defendable. I mean, were they even armed? Probably not. So why would you retreat from a vehicle, lock your keys in the car, take your wife and kids to the top of a mountain? That makes no sense to me. Whether it was...
if they were armed, they only had a 22. If that's all they had, that's not going to do much.
No, it's not.
No, not to a Bigfoot or a dogman. It's just going to piss them off, even if you shoot them in the eye.
Right.
I think they're just going to laugh at you and probably tell you don't do it. Like that one guy with the machete or the baseball bat that ran out there with the werewolf and he was eating the slop and he, can you imagine that? You go out there to go catch some guy, messing with your house and you go out there and it's a werewolf. I mean, can you imagine? That would scare the shit out of me. That would scare the crap out of me. Sorry about my language, guys.
And I know a lot of people's going to ask, the coroner's final report on his final report on the case on all three victims were a cause of death was not determined due to the heavily decomposed state of the bodies.
Right.
So
where the bodies were found, which I'm not for sure if you know this, but where the bodies were found, how close were they to a major road? Were they trying to get to a road? Were they close to a major road or a road coming down the mountain?
I don't think they gave the location as to where the bodies were found.
No, well, all I have is that the truck was actually discovered a quarter mile from their last known location. So apparently wherever they had been prior to, that's where they ended up discovering the truck.
Yeah, because the GPS locator, which people carry when they go out in the woods, was left in the truck.
Right.
That don't make any sense.
But But when they actually discovered the truck, it was a quarter mile from their last known location that anybody had seen them at last.
Okay.
So
the other thing is how much of the information that we have has been falsely added to give misinformation. Do we know? I mean, does that make any sense?
Well,
How corrupt is the case? Do we know? I mean, does that make any sense what I'm saying, Mike, or not?
yeah, because that's exactly what I was thinking whenever I was reading it, because it frustrates me whenever they start painting a narrative based on speculation. Whenever you start saying, well, this family was arguing a lot, therefore, what do you expect? I mean, a lot of times in these cases, and it's sad, but it's true, if you're not well known or you're not what they consider, highfalutin people of a community, and something happens to you, they're not going to spend a lot of money on resources to find out what happened to you. If the police, and this is all allegedly entertainment purposes only, if the police are saying that they were methed up and all that, that's telling me that they don't have a good standing in the community, or they're not well known people in the community. So therefore, it's not important. It was easier to just be quiet about it, because I mean, this guy, whenever you read, and like what Randy said, and I think Randy really hit it on the head, was this guy was terrified. I mean, he was going to the preacher saying, my God, can you bless these bullets to kill these things on my roof? They're going to kill my family. They're saying they're going to kill my family. They're telling me we have to leave, and we have to leave our daughter for them. They want our daughter. And they're telling him this, and they're scratching on the windows, and they're looking in the windows. I mean, that would really, 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 I mean, I can't imagine the fear that he was in. I mean, just to try and even protect your family from, God only knows what he saw on the roof of that house. And if they were on the roof of the house, who's to say they weren't in the trees and everywhere else? What did he see that he thought was important enough, to run to a preacher above all people and say, hey, I need help?
Question for you, Mike. Do we know what the preacher's reaction about this story? Do we have any kind of data on what the preacher said? Do we have any kind of information on that?
The only thing that we know about that is the preacher was concerned for him, and the preacher, whenever they asked him if he believed that they were really dealing with creatures, the preacher's response was, I believe that he truly believes in what he says he's seen.
That right there,
yeah,
that right there gives weight to the fear that preacher saw in that man's eyes,
Right.
in my opinion. Based on that statement, what he said about he believed the guy.
Right.
but it doesn't mean the preacher believed him. Or
correct.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it gives weight to what the guy was asking the preacher to do.
Right.
Does that make any sense in my opinion?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This guy had to be terrified. I mean, how
you
hard
your local preacher and asking them to bless your bullet so you can kill the demons on your roof. Can you imagine how they would the average? Can you imagine the average reaction? Can you imagine?
it would be. I mean, it's and it's hard enough to even talk about having encounters because of the ridicule that people will give you. So imagine, out of all people, you go to a preacher and you tell him that, hey, you're pretty much saying, can you make me a silver bullet because I need to kill some creatures on my roof?
Right.
Thank you, Jenny, for that donation.
Yes, thank you, Jenny. God bless you. I would have to agree with the preacher. I mean, I wasn't there, so I don't know what the guy seen, but just based on going to a preacher and trying to get bullets uh, blessed and having a known satanic Bible in your house, your daughter communicating with uh, something in the house that more than one person is hearing, and even a person that doesn't reside in the house is hearing. I think that is enough to at least say there's something going on that's not normal. Um, and then you have the dad, which is for some reason I think the dad. I may be wrong, but I think the dad gets the bad end of the deal in this because they're saying the dad had the Bible, but yet the preacher is who the dad went to. Everybody said he was very religious, a very Christian man, but yet the wife was the one doing the seances and writing the witch stuff out on the container. So I'm trying to figure out why were they so hard pressed to put it all off on the dad. That's
Yeah,
what is weird.
that's what I was wondering too. Is how did they know that that was his satanic Bible? And if there was another, I mean, it a man's Bible as compared to like the mother's Bible, or and and if it was, I mean, who's to say that it wasn't that other individual that had come in and was helping out for a while?
And I got
I,
a question. Uh,
Yeah.
what monster does everybody want a silver bullet to kill?
A werewolf.
A werewolf. So he knew what was on that house was probably a werewolf. If he asked for the silver or for the bullets to be blessed, you don't go after Dracula with a silver bullet. You don't go after Bigfoot with a silver bullet. You only do it on werewolves.
Allegedly.
Right, allegedly, yes. So
I
that's what
agree.
he was. Yeah, that's what that guy was thinking when he asked for the bullets to be blessed. He saw, to me, something that looked like a werewolf.
Yep.
And then even take it further than that. Imagine that these things were talking to him at night saying, we want your daughter. We've made friends with your daughter, and we want you guys to move away and leave her for us. We want her. And the daughter is is communicating with these things because I mean, if it was just the daughter, and nobody else heard it, then we could say, okay, well, probably an imaginary friend, possibly. I think there's more to imaginary friends than imaginary friends, but I think that because there's other people in this that are hearing the same voices and the dad is seeing these things. And there was even a small report to where Nikki, Marilyn's friend, had came over to the house. And when she was leaving, one of these things ran over the top of her car and jumped off the top of her car and climbed the tree. So there was something physical there.
And we also know that cryptids and demons work together.
Right.
So you got demons and maybe Dogman working together on that house.
So you said the friend witnessed this thing jump on the car. She was out. The friend was outside, or
Yeah, it jumped on her car when she was leaving. Nikki was her name.
okay.
It ran and jumped on her car and then leaped from her car to the tree and then climbed the tree and then jumped to the trees to the back.
Okay.
Hey,
I
Mike,
wouldn't be going
Scott,
back.
Mike also has a good point. Have we established that dogmen, werewolves are demon? Okay, never mind. You've already covered that. My bad. Never mind. You covered that.
If you think about, you remember in the report we read that Nikki said, that her and what was her name, Sherilyn,
Good night, Helen.
They would do seances and spells and stuff. And Nikki said, she didn't take it, as she didn't really believe in it as much as what Sherilyn did. Sherilyn was all into it. So if they're doing seances and stuff, God only knows what they conjured up or
Right.
brought up to that house.
Right.
Yeah, if it started off with voices and such, they could have, yeah.
They could have brought
That up.
something into the house, yeah,
Mhm.
which could have
And
brought
children.
something into the outside of the house that can't get in the house, but they can
Yeah.
jump on top of it and scratch the walls.
So then my question would be, uh, and just a theory, but do y'all think that it's possible that Bobby was the Christian and he was praying against all this and trying to do the right thing, and that was the only thing that was keeping those things out of the house?
Could be.
Yeah. I think that satanic Bible could have very well possibly been hers and not his.
Right. Makes more sense.
The daughter was 6, Dana.
So here's my theory, just a theory. This would never stand in any court because it goes outside of the boundaries that are allowed to be used. But entertainment purposes only, just a theory. I believe that it is probable and possible in my beliefs that there may have been demonic influence inside of the house that caused your flesh and blood creatures to be at the home and also to possess the mother. I believe that when they did go up on that mountain, the mother knew that she was going to take their lives. I believe that the mother was influenced by something outside that had possessed her. I don't believe it was an attachment. I believe it was a full-on possession. And due to the bodies being 3 miles away to where they were found, I really don't think that has. It doesn't mean they traveled 3 miles because you have to remember this is a course of 4 years where animals had spread their bones. Not all of them were collected. So that means the bones that were collected and the bones that were found could have been carried God knows how far by a coyote that would have chewed on it until it could have ate the flesh off of it. I think that when they went up there, I think that she probably did take their lives. And I think the reason we're not finding the gun is because if you look at the photographs, just in the photographs, you can see that that is a very popular area. There's a lot of vehicles parked there. And a lot of times, unfortunately, when people do find guns laying around, they don't always turn them in.
Well, the another weird thing is that even though they searched that area, they didn't find their remains for however long afterwards. They searched that area. So how
Right.
could they have missed the bodies? I mean, and it's not like the bodies were spread out either. They were all in one area.
Well, maybe considering the terrain they said was rough. If it was a raining day, that would have that hurts the dogs' sense of smell. If you have a lot of rain in the air, a lot of humidity, dogs don't track as well. Um, Human nature sometimes is not to go in the hardest places to walk. A lot of times they're going to say, well, a 6-year-old couldn't have walked up there. Um, we're human and we're lazy. I've seen a lot of lazy search teams that went out. Uh, I've been on search teams before that decided not to go to areas because there was ponds and briars and locust trees, and so I think that it was probably much as you hate to say it, but I believe this was a demonic possession that led to a murder suicide. That would be my.
Yeah, and you say the hunters found the bodies, what was left of them. You know, they could easily grab the gun themselves to keep it.
Right.
Of course, it'd be all
Because
rusted.
right.
Yeah.
And I mean, some 16-year-old, some 18-year-old, they're out there, they find a gun, it works. Say they would have found it even around that time. A lot of kids are going to keep the gun.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You know, there's guns all the time. That get thrown off bridges that people find and they don't turn them in, they keep them. And I'm not
Right.
telling people to do that, because if you are caught with it, you can still be, charges pressed on you for, having stolen merchandise, been in possession
Right.
of it. But, a lot of people do keep that stuff. And that can really hamper an investigation. I think that's why everything was left in the truck and the keys were left in it and everything was locked, is because, I hate to say her, but in speculation and allegedly, if she was the one that done this, she knew they wasn't going to return to the truck. And a lot of times it's weird, but when you look at criminal cases and you really dig into them, and a lot of people don't really look at this part of a criminal case, is a lot of times a criminal will not kill a animal or a pet because they do not feel that that animal or pet deserves it. I know that's weird, but it follows. There is a pattern that establishes sometimes in a lot of murders. You will find that the animals are left alive. That they people have more of a heart for animals sometimes than they do humans. The dog, in her mind, may have been innocent. It's hard to tell. I mean, you're speculating, but
Yeah,
it's hard. It's hard.
it's weird that the truck was locked and the keys were in the ignition. If somebody was up there with them, they would have busted the windows out to see what was in the truck.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, and if it would
So
have been,
they weren't
32,
chased away by a human. If they were
right?
chased away,
Right, and $32,000 cash in the truck, and nobody took it.
yeah, and they were running from something by clearing out their account.
Whatever unalived him probably wasn't a meth head, my opinion.
Right.
I don't think so either. Uh,
Because like Mike saying that was left behind that a normal meth head would have taken.
Well,
I mean, you
plus
can go down.
they never. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. We just have a lag. Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say.
Sorry.
Plus, they never actually found any meth paraphernalia in the home, in the vehicle, or on the area where they found them.
Right.
Which, if somebody is a meth head, they're going to have some type of paraphernalia on them somewhere, and they didn't find any of it. So,
Right.
I mean, you could even jump down a rabbit hole and look at the supernatural side of this and wonder, was everything getting so bad at the house that the dad thought that they were going to move out of there to this new land and start? Maybe part of the story's right, and they were going to start all over and get away from these things, because maybe he didn't know his ex was bringing it in there. And whenever they went out there and they were taking the final steps, because they were supposed to meet the man to pay him for the property, and say they went out there, and then all of a sudden this thing that's at the house, it gets pissed off because, hey, they're taking that girl away and I told them not to. So it influences the mother, and if I can't have her, nobody can. Just speculation, entertainment purposes only.
well, and I would think that with the fact that they emptied out their bank accounts, they weren't planning on going back to that house.
Right.
But what you said earlier about the something had made friends with the child, that makes sense to what you just said. That gives weight to that, in my opinion. If that makes sense.
I missed Lisa Ann's question. She said, "Please consider my question." Sorry, I miss chat sometimes because I'm glancing back and forth to the iPad. And since it made friends with the child, and they took the child with them that day, maybe it felt like they were taking the child away from it. Because
Lisa,
it may, we don't know how long it was even talking to the child, what kind of relationship they had established, or what was going on.
And if the mom is a really good Christian, she wouldn't be practicing all that stuff. If she was really a true Christian, she wouldn't be practicing and have the devil's book at the house and all that. That just don't make sense.
So Lisa Ann asked, what if one of the What if the one that befriended the child showed up where they were and the child was going to it, and the parents followed and then were attacked by others? I don't know if she means like other entity things, creatures. Oh, like they were baiting? I don't know if that's what you're asking, Lisa Ann.
You know, Paul. Yeah, I mean, if they would have went up there and what the guy seen on top of the house was physical. You know, he said it was scratching on the doors, looking in the windows, walking on the house. He could hear it walking. He wanted bullets to kill it. So maybe they went out there and they followed him to the woods. Maybe that's why it's unsolved, is because we don't actually know what done it.
And were they having issues like day in and day out? Like, did it matter? Was there anything that stated that they were having this? Maybe, some people claim that every night at 8 o'clock or 10 o'clock. Was this something that was happening around the clock continuously at their home?
Yeah, the way they had wrote it, it was an everyday occurrence, and that the spirits there was beginning to get to be more and more spirits as time went on. It was growing.
Okay. But it didn't matter like the time of day or anything like that. It was just a
Right. Yeah,
ongoing.
they had seemed to be more interested in the child at first, but as time progressed, Sherilyn, she started actually talking to these voices also. So
Okay.
yeah, it's like it went from the daughter to the mother, and then and the strange thing is, the mother-in-law, she heard it too, but the strange thing is, it's like nobody really had an issue with it except for Bobby. He was the only one trying to kill him and get away from him.
Did it say how old Nikki was? The one that had her car there and something ran over it?
No, it didn't.
So, because I was thinking she couldn't be a friend of the little girls, as far as, if she's driving a car, she's 16, little girl's 5. So I'd say she's more or less friends with the family.
Yeah, well, yeah, it said Nikki was Cheryl Lynn's best friend. It was the mom's
Okay.
best friend.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Michelle McGuire says someone in an investigation methed up. No, I don't believe drugs was a influence in this case at all.
No.
I think you can completely throw that out. None of it, in my opinion, matches any kind of drug abuse, under the influence of it, because, like what Jesse stated, if you've been in a meth person's house, you're going to find paraphernalia, you're going to find drugs.
Oh, yeah.
They're not going to leave prescription drugs in a vehicle and $32,000. I mean, that ain't going
Right.
to happen. They're going to
Right.
strip that truck and burn it to the ground where it sits. I mean,
Do we know where they worked or what jobs they had? Because
I
to have
believe they
that
were.
32,000 cash, you got to have some money coming in.
I think they were both on government assistance. Hello, Grandmama.
Yeah, I believe one of the earlier things that I had also heard was that he was actually receiving, or she was receiving, one of the two, a check for the car accidents that they were. Maybe that was her. She was receiving a check payment for the settlement for the car accidents that
Okay.
she had been in.
Yeah. That makes
Okay,
sense.
so maybe that's where the 32,000 came from, is his
Yeah.
compensation.
Could be. Because
Yeah.
I remember reading something else that said Connie didn't know anything about the checks from the car accidents. And that was Sherilyn's mother. But apparently that was one of the, yeah, Sherilyn had received a check for car accident that she had been in.
Well,
Wow.
my opinion is they were dealing with demons in the house and some kind of cryptid outside the house working together. If that's why he wanted silver bullets
Yeah.
or blessed bullets. I don't know if he said silver or not. If he said silver, then we know where he's thinking of a werewolf.
Well, he asked the preacher if he could bless them.
Just bless the bullets. It didn't say silver, right?
Right.
Okay.
Luana wants to know if there was any evidence of garlic. Sorry, Luana, I didn't mean to laugh.
No garlic, La Mama.
Vampires, he's thinking, I
Yeah.
bet, right?
Right.
Vampires.
Red Edge
I don't-
Savage. The house is in Eufaula, Oklahoma.
But I don't know. I kind of liked Lisa Ann's thought process of maybe that they were baited out into the woods like that.
I think that's possible too.
Yeah, I just don't understand why they would be carrying 32,000 cash on them. Unless they're planning on never going back to that house.
That's what my assumption would be, is that they weren't ever planning on going back. That they probably thought we're done. We're gonna leave everything, grab our money, and go.
Start over.
Do it all. Yeah. Yeah.
And the mother practicing witchcraft just don't make sense either. She can't be a good Christian and want to practice witchcraft. I'm sorry, it just don't make sense.
No.
My opinion.
And then you look at the part to where we talked about the possible possession. You look at the videos; they're in that zombie state. Is that a possession? Is that what we're actually watching?
Well, it could be an oppression too, where they're just in that blank state of processed mind. Not necessarily that they were possessed, but
why would they carry the same boxes back and forth, back and forth?
If they were oppressed to the point where they weren't even thinking straight, yeah. Or also, I mean, if he was already on severe pain medication like Vicodin or Percocets or whatever else, he could have been. I mean, depending on how much pain he had been in, he could have been.
Are we for Are we for sure that wasn't looped? Because it really looked looped to me.
No, well, I don't know if it really wasn't looped, but that was the whole point, was that they kept doing the same thing.
Show it again. Sorry, Jess.
No, that's okay.
Yeah, show it again, because
there it is.
Everybody watch it and give us an opinion in the chat if you think it's looped or if it's one long video. See, the guy walked in front of the truck the same. Yeah, that's looping. It's different parts, but it's looping. I don't know. That there's a lot of it that looks exactly the same. It looks like it's repeating.
It looks like they've put two different video cameras together.
Yeah, and it looks like there's a third person there too. Was there a third person there?
A lot of those shots were the same shots, exactly. Like the man in the yellow shirt and the white shirt standing next to the truck.
Well, I think the yellow shirt was the woman.
Well, whatever she is.
But then there's a guy in a white shirt, but then there's a gray shirt.
See, that picture's already been shown.
Yeah.
That picture's been shown.
Yeah, there is. There's a third guy.
There it is. Yeah.
Who is that guy?
And it's the same photo, the same video over and over. But it is in two different directions. So who's on the roof filming this stuff?
That's probably a security camera, my guess.
That high up? Well, it could be.
I'm guessing, Scott.
I have my camera on top of my garage. It's way up on top of the garage.
It looks like, because the camera, if you notice, the camera's not bouncing around. If a human was holding it, there'd be some bounce.
Right.
In the camera. I'm seeing the camera bouncing around. So the cameras, in my opinion, basically, it's the security cameras.
Okay.
Yeah, it says security. It says security camera footage.
Okay, so, but it does look like the same pictures are being shown, little sections of the video.
Yes.
If you look at it, I mean, the man or the girl in the yellow shirt and the guy, you see them 3 times the exact same way. They walk to the car together, and it stops and goes back to the other side of the truck. It goes back to that same picture again. It looks like it's been cut into it and shown it a couple of times. So they're probably not taking boxes in and out. They're probably taking boxes out. It just looks like
no. They were on the actual police report. The police they did not release the full security cameras.
Right.
And the police report actually stated that they were carrying the same box to the vehicle, to the house, to the vehicle, to the house, and they were puzzled as to why they were doing that. And they would also stop, stare at the sky, and they wouldn't even they weren't even communicating with each other.
Yeah,
they
would just they didn't show the whole video.
Yeah, but they won't
a whole lot.
Yeah, they won't release the whole video yet until the case they said is completed.
Right. Yeah, so
they'll never release that information.
No. Squatching Grandma, that is the Jamison family in Oklahoma. I would hate to be as scared as that guy was to pull all my money out of the bank, ask a preacher to bless my bullets, and to just take off. I mean, that guy had to be panicked.
Yeah, my opinion is that it was demonic working with cryptid, maybe. That you had those cryptids outside, the demons on the inside of the house, which don't have to ask permission to come in. They just come in unless you tell them to leave in the name of Jesus Christ, the blood of Christ.
And were they having... Go ahead.
I had a friend that grew up in a haunted house, and he would get dragged out of his bed at night by demons, and they would scratch on him. I mean, they would scratch him and terrorize him.
So you're talking about a poltergeist activity. Poltergeist is the only one where you'll get scratches and get the body pulled. Is the worst demons of all.
The severity of this person went through is a lot worse than any movie in Hollywood that you've ever heard. But I can't to come on and share their stories. Maybe one day they will. They're just afraid to share their stories with what they do. They don't want the information getting out. This could affect them.
Sure.
So my question is too then, do they actually have, like, I know you said the voices and talking to and such in the house, but was there other things going on in the house, things getting moved and knocked around, or, I mean, were they being grabbed and touched and such like that too, or was it just the voices in the house? Do we know?
All it said is there was just voices in the house that they were communicating with.
Okay, because that makes me think back to when we were talking with Travis about how they can, from the outside of the homes, they can talk to and speak through the house.
Oh, yeah.
So depending on, I mean, maybe this wasn't necessarily poltergeist or ghost type activity inside the house, but yet these cryptid creatures that weren't able to get in were trying to communicate with the whole family.
Yeah. And again, mind speak, who knows?
Didn't they say something about, when Scott Carpenter, didn't they mention something about, wasn't there like a tree or a bush or something that these creatures would try to peek at him from or talk to him from?
Right, yeah. And also had the little demon on the back of one of the cryptids. The little gray looking face on the back of the cryptid. He's got a picture of that.
That's what I wonder if, remember that photo that you have out in when you were doing boots on the ground, that there was that one photo that looked like a cryptid with a little guy on him? Little demon guy?
Look like a little baby.
That's what I keep thinking of every time. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's my little baby.
Oh, Lord.
I got to thinking about it. Would y'all, and this is a question for people and the subscribers too, would you all like to go to that house and be able to go in and tour it? Or if you could stay the night in it?
Is that an option? Is this an open house?
Mike's gonna
No.
go into an open house.
I think I would pass on that, Mike.
And what happened to the house when they disappeared and wasn't found for 4 years? Who took over the house?
I think somebody else is living in it now.
Which I guarantee if it's 4 years, between the dates, but that's just weird.
Probably get you a good price on it, Scott, if you're wanting to move down here to Oklahoma.
No, that's okay. I'm good right now. I've had to battle so much in this house. I don't need to start fresh again.
Right.
Plus, you don't want to be on the dinner menu either.
Yeah.
Is that close to you, Randy?
Oklahoma seems to have a lot of activity, regardless if you're south, north, or wherever.
Right.
I'm learning there's all kinds of stuff going around here.
How far away from your town, Mike, is that place? Do you know where the house is?
How far did you follow, Mom? 60 miles?
No, you follow probably about 70 miles.
About 70 miles.
Oh, okay. Going south, north, east, or west?
South?
Okay.
Southwest?
I mean, not that it means anything. I was just curious. Yeah, I mean, if you can go visit the house and take a video of it, and if you can go inside, climb on the roof and tell them you want in, and
Yeah.
maybe that'll be a good video.
Yeah.
Are you
I want
going
in your house.
are you going to stand on the roof and film me while I creep around on it?
And I'll tell you what, it won't matter if the bullets are blessed or not. They're going to kill you if they shoot you.
Yeah.
Oh,
they wouldn't be very blessed if they hit me. I wouldn't be happy about it.
now, here's the question. The lady had the 22. What gun did he have? What gun did he have to be blessed? The bullets.
That's a good question. They never say.
Yeah, because see, he could have had his own gun. And
Hey,
if he knows guns, he would know a 22 ain't going to hurt unless you hit him in a vital organ. If you can get it to penetrate and go into the vital organ. I mean, a 22 does enter the body and usually tumbles around, destroying organs. But if I had something on my roof and 3 or 4 things on my roof, I wouldn't be using old 22. I promise you.
No.
No,
but
you
if that's
wouldn't even
what
think.
they have,
I mean, it's hard to kill a squirrel with a 22 unless you shoot it right in the head.
well, maybe he thought he could shoot it in the eye or something. I don't know.
Well, that's what they say on Bigfoot. You have to aim for the eye socket.
Yeah, I bet you that would work. But I don't really want to try that out. That would be a life and death situation. Plus, if you kill one, others going to get vengeance on you.
What did they shoot Silver Bullet werewolf with in the eye? Did they stick a stake through his eye, or was he shot, or a firework? It was a firework.
I don't think the height matters on the werewolf, to be honest with you, based on the information that I.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think they're dogmen. I think they had dogmen on the roof, and I think they had entities. Either, like Jesse said, they could have been speaking through the house, and people say they mind speak, so they could have talked to everybody, and they wouldn't hear it except for in their mind.
Yeah.
Well, see, but then you have to think that the mother-in-law heard it too, though, with the little girl there.
Yeah, but there's nothing saying that it wasn't mind speak, that they can't do that to everybody that they're trying to communicate with.
Right. If they mind speak, only the person they're speaking to will hear it.
Mm-hmm. So if there's 3 people in the area that they want to speak to, then what's to stop them from speaking to all 3?
Right.
They're not allowed to do that to me. I block that. I plead the blood on them bastards for that. they ain't going to be no mind speaking my brain.
Yeah. Well, I'll
But
tell you, you can definitely chase anything out of your house that's cryptid or demon by pleading the blood of Christ. It works. If you're a
amen.
Christian, you have to be a Christian. You have to believe.
Mhm.
Snow angels don't always do it.
One time. For one time.
Well, I've had y'all on here for a little over 2 hours. I've enjoyed this discussion. Do you all in the chat, before everybody starts running off, I got a question. Do you enjoy these investigative videos more than you do the breakdowns? Would you like to see more of these or the breakdowns? If you'd like to see more of these, give us a thumbs up. If you want more of the breakdowns, I don't know, give us the finger. I don't know. Give us something else. Dana says both.
Yeah, I don't see why we couldn't.
Mini werewolf.
I don't see why. I mean, it's interesting to jump into these cases.
Mini werewolf.
I
don't see
really
why.
enjoyed
I
it.
mean, it's interesting to jump into these cases. Wow.
I really enjoyed
I mean, it's interesting to jump into these cases. Why do they keep saying that?
I think Randy has it because he took his headphones off.
I don't know. I keep
My
hearing
headphones died. My
I think Randy has it. Yep. Because he took his headphones off.
it's looping.
My headphones died.
Um,
I'm happen to use the computer to hear you guys because my Bluetooth headphones, the battery ran low.
yeah, that's okay. So actually, if you just mute, unless you're talking, if you mute, then it should stop.
Headphones, the battery ran low.
Actually, if you just mute, unless you're talking.
Good night, everybody. Thank you.
Sorry for the
Showing up.
feedback. I
Thank you for your
apologize.
support.
Is that better?
That's good.
Yep.
Yeah, well, but I guess what we could do both. We could do a little bit of the breakdowns and then jump into some investigations and kind of mix it all together.
And when the weather allows, boots on the ground.
Yep.
I will bless you all with some of those coming up, hopefully. And
Sounds good.
Yep.
I'll show Jesse how to do it without taking a swan dive. Hopefully.
No, she didn't do a swan dive. She did a swirl.
She was
Whatever.
ballerina in it.
Yeah, ballerina. She did a ballerina move there. Throw a $500 camera in there to see if it'll work.
As long as y'all enjoyed it, that's all that matters.
Hey,
Good afternoon, Psychic Internet.
it's just the bloopers that are good.
All right, Jesse, start walking us out of here.
Thank you, everybody, for being here and joining us tonight. I appreciate you all. I hope you guys enjoyed something a little bit different. And yeah, again, if you like this, make sure you let us all know so that we can continue to do more. Hopefully, we will see y'all again next time. Over.
I already said goodbye to everybody and thank you for your support. So over.
Randy? Yeah, I think his earpiece is giving him trouble.
Good night, everyone, if you can hear me.
We can hear you.
It's been a blast.
Mike, take us away, please.
All right, guys. It's been a fun one tonight. I appreciate all of y'all coming in to support us, support me, my family, and everything. Like I said, there's going to be some new things coming up. It's going to be progressing. There's going to be some different. I can't say what, but I will say that there's going to be different court links that we're going to be putting out. That Jesse will put out for y'all to be able to follow. It's just very, very good to know that you guys support us. It means a lot. And I think that's the best way Do you think that's the best way, Jesse? Is we're just going to start putting the links out that way they can follow it and see it for themselves?
I can do that. That's fine. Yeah.
I mean, do you think that's better though than everybody having their own opinion of what's going on and spreading rumors? That way they can just go look.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
And
I
there's
mean,
going to be,
it's
I can't, right. And I can't say what, I'm not going to say what, but I will tell you this. There is going to be some new dockets that'll be
Right.
available coming up soon.
Right.
So for the people out there for like Wendy and them that want to get involved in things and think it's funny, this is not a game. It's ruining people's lives, and it's just going to get worse. And the longer we have to fight, the more things it has to come out, and it's not good for anybody. It should have never
right.
happened.
Right.
But there's a lot of evil in this world, and we just have to follow God, and we have to believe in God that the
Amen.
truth will be revealed. So until next time, guys, we love each and every one of our abnormal family. You guys are awesome. You're wonderful. Our core support's great. We'll see you on the next one. And until next time, guys, keep your head on a swivel. Don't be something's dinner, and don't let things in your window that's scratching at it at night for sure. Good night. God bless.
Good night, everyone.